I'm Ryan from ExtremeTerrain.com, and in this video we're going to be running both of these Jeeps on the dyno. Now I know Jeeps are not high horsepower builds, they're not muscle cars. Why are we putting them on a dyno? They're never going to be a race car. Well, this is the first time since the TJ that a Jeep Wrangler has been offered with two different engines at the same time. And if you're thinking about getting a new JL, which engine to choose is going to be a huge part of your decision-making process. Now currently, if you want a stick shift, you're going to have to go with the newly redesigned 3.6 liter, but if you're going to go with the 8-speed automatic, you are going to be able to get either engine, and which one you choose is going to have a lot to do with how much power that engine makes. Of course, there are a bunch of other things that are going to drive that decision, as far as MPGs and just generally if you are a fan of forced induction or not. But a big one again is going to be the torque and horsepower numbers that engine is going to make. So we're going to put both of these Jeeps to the test, run them on the dyno, bring you those numbers so that you can better make a decision about which Jeep is the right Jeep for you. So let's get to it. So we just got done making our first pull with the 3.6 liter V6. It made 239 horsepower and 223 foot-pounds of torque. It made numbers exactly where we would expect them to be when you compare them to what Jeep said this motor would make, and calculated in about a 15% drivetrain loss. So as you can see here, the torque curve is nice and flat, which is something that you would really want to see. You're going to feel that torque right when you step on the gas pedal. Now let's get the 2 liter on the rollers and see what that can do. After running the 2 liter, it made almost 270 foot-pounds of torque. As far as the horsepower goes, right around 233 horsepower. The first thing you're going to notice is the really big torque numbers that we got here. And if you do calculate it in the same 15% drivetrain loss, that is going to be over-advertised at the crank, which is a good thing to see. You want to have those larger torque numbers, especially if you're going to be running some big tires on the Jeep. If you're going to be in an off-road situation, torque is very important. Right around 3,000 RPM, that's where the torque really picks up and then pretty much stays level up to the red line, and you can expect that before 3,000 RPM things were a little bit lower just because you weren't getting a ton of boost out of that little turbo. As far as horsepower goes, it's about 6 horsepower lower than the V6. Not a huge difference there, and for the much larger torque numbers, I think that the 2 liter is a really nice trade-off. Now let's go ahead and pull up the 3.6 liter graph at the same time. The horsepower numbers, while they're not that different, if we're talking about peak numbers, again, we're talking about maybe a 6 horsepower difference, there is a pretty drastic spread here right in the area where you're going to spend a lot of your time driving when you're either just putting around town or when you're on the highway in a passing mode. You're really going to feel this horsepower difference because that spread is pretty significant. Again, right in that 3,000 to 4,500 range. As we said before, the max torque numbers are going to be significantly different. You're going to get a lot more torque out of that 2 liter. So if you are looking for an engine that's going to give you a lot of torque, especially down low, as we said before, that's going to be something that's very beneficial to you in an off-road situation. Maybe you do want to take a closer look at that 2 liter. If you're looking for something that's a little bit more of that tried and true engine, you're not interested in getting into something forced induction, that 3.6 liter still did make some pretty good numbers for us and is still going to get the job done. Now, this of course was just a quick little test on our dyno here, but we are going to be taking these Jeeps off-road to see exactly how different or how similar they feel in a wheeling situation. I think that additional torque that the 2 liter makes is definitely going to be noticeable off-road, and I cannot wait to get behind the wheel of both of these Jeeps. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you can check out our detailed review videos on the JL, as well as all the products that we have available for your JL, and make sure you comment below. That way you can let me know which engine you have in your JL or if these numbers surprised you.